Hi, today I'm going to show you how I make our very easy oil-free, salt-free, oven-baked fries, which are just our potato wedges, just baked up in the oven, and they get nice and crispy and have a lot of flavoring, so I'll just show you how we do those. So this is a great way to use leftover potatoes. Both my husband and my kids tend to eat more of them if I do turn them into oven fries. So I always have some, pretty much always, at least steamed potatoes, various varieties. I often keep them in like a bag like this or in a container in the fridge. I have some red ones, I have some russets, I have some yellow potatoes, and I'll just show you how I slice those up and turn them into fries. We need parchment paper, we need some kind of a cookie sheet, obviously, an oven, and then I tend to use this salt-free seasoning, though I do know, I'm pretty sure they've discontinued this, so sometimes I use Mrs. Dash as well. You could use onion and garlic powder if you don't mind salt, because we have we're always trying to avoid salt when we can, just for to avoid raising blood pressure, but you certainly can use some salt if that's part of where you're at in your process. So I'll show you how our steps to making these. All right, so I just slice my pre-cooked potatoes in half and then quarters, and I just leave them as kind of rough wedges like this. You can certainly slice them into more of a fry shape, and then you'll have more of an exposed area that can get a little bit crispier. We do not have an air fryer, but I know a lot of people use an air fryer sometimes. So I'll do this again just in quarters, basically. Oops. And I'll show you after how I line these up, but I just line them up so there's as much exposed area as possible. It's going to be open to getting a little bit browned. This one I sliced into 4 and then some wedges. So I basically just mix it up. Whatever potatoes I have left in the fridge, I can turn into fries. I do find they turn a little bit nicer if you pre-cook them like that. If you steam them first, let them cool, and then turn them into fries. We find they get crispier and they just have a really nice texture when we do that. So that's the way we prefer. So I'm going to finish this up. I'll show you how I line them all up like little sardines so that I make most use of space on the cookie sheet and can do as many as possible. And I just make one batch at a time because I use the broiler function on my stove. So I'll finish this up and show you the finished product. Okay, so you can see how they're all just lined up. I try to make as good use of space as I can. And then I just sprinkle this on very approximately. You could do a better job by probably tossing them in it, in a bag or something, but I just do a pretty loose job of this. And sometimes I even leave some of them unseasoned. I'll make a ketchup to go with this usually, and so sometimes the kids and my husband just enjoy like dipping even something kind of plain that's a little bit crispy in one of their preferred condiments. So we'll go like that. And then I actually do not preheat the oven at all for this. I found what works best is to actually put on the broil function and then put this on the top rack. And it just, the flame, the element just really browns the surface quite quickly because these are already pre-cooked. That's one reason I like using pre-cooked potatoes. So we're not having a mess with cooking them again. We just are getting them to the desired brownness. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to set my stove to broil. I'm going to pop them in my oven, and I will cook these usually a very full tray like this where I've taken them out of the fridge so they're cold right now. I will actually do for 20 minutes. So I'll show you what they look like when they're done. All right, so while I wait for the fries to cook, I'm going to show you how we make our salt-free, sugar-free ketchup. So this is just, I say ketchup loosely. It's like tomato dipping sauce to us. It's all of us love it now, but it definitely does not taste quite like your Heinz bottled ketchup because I don't use a sweetener. For a time, I actually sweetened it with dried fruit, but we just don't need it anymore. Our taste buds, we've been eating this way for 14 years. So we really genuinely enjoy the taste of natural whole foods. So We don't need that, but you certainly could add like some dates if you're missing the sweetness of this ketchup. This is more just a savory taste. Okay, so I'm just gonna go grab my can opener. All right, so we just need 2 cans of salt-free tomato paste. These are the 6-ounce cans, and actually a lot of tomato paste comes salt-free naturally, so you don't have to look too hard for that. And then I use unsweetened applesauce. I use 2 little cups like this because they're so convenient, but you can also just use a cup of unsweetened applesauce. This is actually a double recipe, so you could have this very easily if you don't want to make as much or for your first try. We need some apple cider vinegar. We need some garlic powder and some oregano, though this is how we make it. You can do this to taste. Like I said, if you wanted to add probably 1 to 3 dates, if you want to puree it up with some hot water to add some sweetness, that can work too. And then there's a little bit of water. So I'll just show you how I combine this. Super simple recipe. So I'm just going to crack my 2 cans of tomato paste. And I might need my kids' help. Mylan or Ari, could you please pass me the garbage can?
Sure.
Thank you. They are my kitchen helpers sometimes. Okay. Sometimes. And then I'm going to do this one. All right, so I just dump both cans into a nice big bowl. I have learned you want to go with big because it's much easier to stir it and not dump if the bowl is nice and big compared to what you're stirring. That probably sounds obvious to most people, but it took me a while to figure out I shouldn't be making the ketchup in the like smallest container possible it would fit. It's not very fun to stir it. So then I just dump in both of these cups of applesauce, and I actually keep this for a second because I'm lazy enough to use that as my approximate measuring cup. So technically, you're supposed to use a third of a cup of apple cider vinegar, okay? And since I know this is about a half a cup measure, I just go to about there. That's my apple cider vinegar. And then we're going to use 2/3 of a cup of water. So I'm just going to go grab that. Actually, let's do the garlic and oregano first. Okay, so garlic powder, we like 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then 1/2 teaspoon oregano. All right, so I'm going to go grab the water. And then I'm going to stir this up really well. That's the hardest part, is just stirring it and combining it really well. And I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so it's all stirred up here. And you can see it's actually a really nice consistency. And it goes really far. Super easy to throw it together. So this is, I'm doing all this while the potato fries are cooking. I'm actually going to go prep another tray so that I right away have 2. And that should keep us going for well, a couple days with our family. And then I can steam some vegetables in the microwave to go with that, and maybe crack a can of beans. And it's a super easy meal. There's so many ways of making plant-based eating work with a family. And I think a lot of it, for most people at least, will come down to just finding shortcuts, finding things that work for you that everyone enjoys eating, but that is not time consuming. Of course, if you enjoy spending more time in the kitchen, if your family needs more elaborate meals, go for it. But this is just what works for our family to keep us consistently eating this way, in a way that doesn't, it's enjoyable for us, and it's just not taking over our lives in terms of time commitment. So here's the finished product. That's about how brown we like them. My one son really likes like kind of these, you know, small crispy ones. So I'm going to plate some of these up. Add the ketchup, and we'll get a taste tester. They're eagerly looking forward to it. Both of them. My kids already checked if it was done or not. All right, so we have our eager taste testers. I haven't made ketchup in a little while, so they were looking forward to it. I kind of go through phases of making more. Okay, careful because they're very hot. I'd put a good amount of ketchup on so you don't burn your tongue. Yum. Yes. That's your favorite dipping sauce, isn't it, for these wedges? When I take the time to make the ketchup?
Maybe. Yes.
Take the time. It only takes 2 minutes. What's that?
In the fridge. We've got that veggie ketchup in the fridge.
That's true. That's a good ketchup you guys enjoy too. Yeah. So this is a good one. This ketchup is great if you're looking to prevent or reverse heart disease, if you're following Esselstyn because you actually have active disease or you're trying very aggressively to avoid it. It's a great thing. Certainly my kids do eat some salt and stuff in form of condiments and in canned beans and things like that. So they just eat salt-free by default because when I can, I try to avoid cooking with salt, but it's not always convenient or possible for us with kids and for people that we're trying to feed this way. But good tasty food, huh? That's also good for our bodies.
It's great. Really hot.
Yeah, they are, I know. Well, they just came out of the oven not too long ago.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling impatient, huh? All right, well, we hope everyone has a great day and that you find this recipe helpful and tasty. And that you find a variation of it that works well for you and your family and your taste buds. Please consider liking and subscribing and leaving a comment below.
Bye.